Alright, this is Julian from the Binary Lab. This video around this time in the morning, or I usually go out by the lake or something, or based on the past few days, but today I've got a very tight schedule, so I'm just going to do everything in the car while driving. I'm already in my neighborhood, so everything is safe. Now, I want to talk about lesson that we can learn from Bruce Lee. I was reading, I mean lately I've been reading very widely. A lot of psychology stuff, a lot of philosophical stuff as well, and I read into some quotes as well, and one of them that really caught my eye was Bruce Lee, what we can learn from him. So there was a statement that Bruce Lee said, okay, I believe this is probably translated, and it ties in kind of like what I've been teaching a lot lately in Binary Lab Elite, alright, and what I've been mentioning about in my recent videos. So Bruce Lee said, okay, I'm not going to quote exactly because I can't remember the exact words, but he said be like water, be formless, be empty. If poured into a cup, becomes the cup. If poured into a bottle, becomes the bottle. So what is that in trading? Okay, if you watch my recent video regarding the one that I had a hitting, which is clickbait, the one where I said, help, I can't trade anymore. So in that video, I talked about the importance of adaptation, and I talked about how my methods have come along the way to the point that basically I don't really have a method right now. So people ask me, how do I, what strategy do I use? I have no strategy, no method, okay? But all I can say is approach-based trading that depends on the market. So, yesterday was one webinar where it started out good, towards the end, started giving away a lot of the gains, and then getting some toward the end, at the very end. So, what can we see from the experience? I'll probably upload that as a in 5 trades or less video as well. But what we can gain from this, okay, is well, every trader, be the water, be formless, be empty, because then only you can actually, expose yourself to all kinds of possibilities. If you are water, water is fast flowing, it's not viscous, it's not like oil or grease or jelly that takes time to mold into some to a shape, or clay. Clay molds, but very, very slowly. It takes hours. So in trading, we need to be very fast. The faster, the better. So when we are adapting, there's definitely going to be error. Not everyone is going to be water straight away. If we are really new to adapting, in fact, for people who are very, very new, usually the reason why I like to start people out with Martingale Mastered, if they want some fast results, is because people who start and they want results fast, they need some kind of a method to work on as a base before they get to learn the market. It takes time to really learn the market, so it's not something that anyone can do immediately. Okay, and then the other thing is that, because when you start out, if you start out, you are going to be like clay. Okay, I talked about different densities, right? You're going to be like clay. If you are like clay, it's going to take you some time to be able to mold into the market, and you definitely lose a lot of money. How slowly you adapt is how much money you will lose in today's game of trading. Today's game of trading involves fast reaction, responsiveness, being like water. Okay, we will not get there straight away. Some of us are going to be like silicone grease. Some of us are going to be like motor oil. Some of us are going to be like olive oil. If you're totally new, if you're like clay, that's not going to cut it. Okay, and eventually we work towards being like water. It takes time. So sometimes what kind of errors will happen? Well, let's say if our job was to mold as quickly as possible to the inside of an object, such as the market in this case, how fast we pour the Notice that when you pour like a thick grease or suspension oil, for those of you who play RC cars, you pour it into a container, you see bubbles forming, and it's not completely filled. In the parts that are not completely filled, that is where it's going to have problems, because we need to get the bubbles out. That doesn't happen in water. Water, it just fills it instantly. So that's what we're going to work towards. Along the way, we will get some errors. And for this reason, I explained to some people in the Binary Lab Elite in yesterday's webinar something very important. Like when you learn to be an adaptive trader, you're not going to get 80% accuracy. You're not going to get 90% accuracy. Well, there may be some days you get 80, 85% some days. But generally speaking, expect to be within the 70 to 80% range. Alright? Some of you who are, in this example, like I use the different viscosities of liquid. Some of you who are a little bit more viscous, maybe you're going to get a high 60%, like about 66, 67%, right? And what does this mean? Well, I don't mean like a bad thing that you are like only going to be 70, 80%. Because in the long run, you will have not lost. You will not have had days where you are 20%, 10%. And these are the days that people who only have a one method or one strategy will face. The people who cannot adapt. The people who see a market condition. You know, imagine, what if there are people out there who are actually worse than clay? People who are worse than clay are the people like, you know, you can stuff, you're like trying to drop a wood piece into a bottle. Not only will it not fit into the shape of the bottle, it may not even fit into the opening of the bottle. Okay? But let's say if you're like clay, well, there's hope. We're gonna be basically melting ourselves down to be like a very mobile liquid. And this way, like I said, well, trading is a long-term marathon. It's not like a short race or a sprint. I know you guys see me doing a lot of sprinting in my Facebook videos and Instagram posts lately, but you know, trading is not a sprint. It's a long run thing. So by being able to adapt, learn the skill of adaptation very well. And this is why I teach in the Binary Lab Elite, because this skill of adaptation to the market is what's gonna basically give you the long-term stability, long-term staying power in this trading game. And this is what's gonna truly make you a big difference from the person who does like maybe like 80-90% for a few days or a few weeks, but for the next few months he's just struggling to make a single dollar. Okay? Because when you learn how to adapt, you will never be out of means to trade. You will always have the right way to trade. If you wish to learn how to trade adaptively, come on into the Binary Lab Elite. If you're totally brand new, like I said, you know, don't rush into it. If you're totally brand new, don't come to Binary Lab Elite. You want to get a method first, get something going for you, try Martingale Mastered, try Binary Lab Basics, and work your way up to Binary Lab Elite. Don't plan to do this even within like a very, very short time. It is not a race. Take your time to do it. Spend maybe 2 weeks in Martingale Mastered, spend another month in Binary Lab Elite, and come over to Binary Lab. Spend about 2 weeks in Martingale Mastered, spend another maybe 1 month in Binary Lab Basics, and then come over to Binary Lab Elite. I'll see you on the inside. Good trading.